Howdy.
Hi.
Alright. Ready for a bedtime story?
Yeah.
Okay. On April 22nd, 1974, Pierre Andrews Roberts and 3 other men drove in 2 vans to the hi-fi shop at 2323 Washington Boulevard, Ogden, just before closing time. 4 of the group entered the shop brandishing handguns, while Roberts and another man remained with the vehicles. 2 employees, Stanley Walker, age 20, and Michelle Ansley, aged 18, were in the store at the time and were taken hostage. Pierre and Andrews took the 2 into the store's basement and bound them. The gang then began robbing the store. Later, a 16-year-old boy, Courtney Naisbitt, first part of the problem, his name's Courtney, and his name's Naisbitt, and it's also 2323 is the address, which is some devil shit, probably, who dropped by to thank Walker for allowing him to park his car in the store's parking lot earlier that day as he ran an errand next door. So he's taking the time to go in to thank them for letting him park his car, which is another mistake. Was also taken hostage and tied up in the basement with Walker and Ansley. Later that evening, Orrin Walker, Stanley Walker's 43-year-old father, became worried that his son had not returned home and went to the store. Courtney Naisbitt's mother, Carol Peterson Naisbitt, also arrived at the shop later that evening looking for her son, who was late getting home. Both Orrin Walker and Carol Naisbitt were taken hostage. There's just hostages piling up. They had contained a total of 5 hostages in the basement. This thing's like a never-ending hostage trap. With 5 people now held hostage in the basement, Pierre told Andrews to get something from their van. Andrews returned with a bottle and a brown paper bag, from which Pierre poured a cup of Drano brand drain cleaner. Pierre ordered Orrin to administer it to the other hostages, but he refused and was bound, gagged, and left face down on the basement floor. Orrin's the 43-year-old father, so he's telling a 43-year-old man to give him the Drano?
Please don't tell me this story. It fills me with murderous rage every time I hear it. I don't want to be violent.
Pierre and Andrews then propped the hostages into sitting positions and forced them to drink the Drano, telling them it was vodka laced with sleeping pills. It immediately caused blisters on the victims' lips, burnt their tongues and throats, and peeled the flesh from around their mouths. So somebody want to give you vodka laced with sleeping pills. Ansley, still begging for her life, was forced to drink the Drano, although Orrin said she coughed less than the other victims. Pierre and Andrews tried to duct tape the hostages' mouths shut to hold quantities of drain cleaner in and to silence their screams, but the oozing blisters prevented the adhesive from sticking. Orrin was the last to be given the Drano, but seeing what was happening to the other hostages, allowed it to pour out of his mouth and then mimicked the convulsions and screams of his son and other hostages. Pierre became angry because the deaths were taking too long and were too loud and messy, so he shot Carol and Courtney Naisbitt in the backs of their heads, killing Carol but leaving Courtney alive. This gets worse and worse. Pierre then shot Orrin Walker but missed. He fatally shot Stanley before again shooting at Orrin, this time grazing the back of his head. This guy's not a very good shot. Pierre took Ansley to the far corner of the basement, forced her at gunpoint to remove her clothes, then repeatedly raped her. More than one rape, repeatedly, after telling Andrews to leave for 30 minutes. Afterwards, he allowed her to use the bathroom while he watched, then dragged her. This is terrible. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. Yikes. Fatally shot her in the back of the head. According to Orrin's testimony, her last words were, "I am too young to die." Sound familiar? Andrews and Pierre noted that Orrin was still alive.
This story is a spoiler to Fishtank Season 2 finale.
noted that Oren was still alive, so Pierre mounted him, wrapped a wire around his throat, and tried to strangle him. When this failed, these guys are retards. How can you not kill someone wrapping a wire around their neck? Pierre and Andrews inserted a ballpoint pen into Oren's ear.
What?
Pierre stomped it until it punctured his eardrum, broke, and exited his throat. Pierre and Andrews went upstairs, finished loading equipment into their van, and left. Well, at least they got all that cool stereo equipment. Anyway. 6 black men driving 2 vans.
Oh, damn.
I don't like that sentence. And I'm not even racist. Hey, at least we have peanut butter.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Blanks. Not even once. Have a good night, Trish. Sweet dreams.